No one really talks about how lonely college can be, especially when you're far from home. Let me give you guys a brief context. I came into the US a couple years ago, 2021 to be specific. I enrolled into college in 2022, and ever since then, college feels different. So I didn't come here for college. Oops. So I didn't come here for college. That is something a lot of you guys get wrong. I didn't come here for school. A lot of my family were already here, so I had to move here to join them. And I had to enroll in college, and it's been so different from the college I'm already used to. So you see colleges in movies, right? Big friend groups, parties, always something happening. But in reality, it's not always like that. Or sometimes it is, but you're never part of it. College isn't something you can go through on your own. I mean, you can if you want to, but is it the best idea? Probably not. You always need some kind of community to make you feel like you belong, and that's where the problem is. Everyone moves in group or cliques or whatever you guys call them. Everyone has their friend groups and all that good stuff. And I know what you're asking, like, Levi, why don't you, find a friend group, or why don't you join a friend group? So the thing is that most friend groups are ethnicity based or race based. I'm not trying to sound racist or anything, but you see the Asians hanging out with the Asians, the Indians hanging out with the Indians, amazing people by the way, the Africans hanging out with the Africans, the blacks hanging out with the blacks, and it just goes on like that. It's funny because it just kind of happens and there is just you by yourself existed. I'm from Nigeria, and the Nigerian community here at my college is close to being non-existent. If something like that existed and they held frequent meetups, that would have been something that would be very helpful. Bro, I literally cannot talk, it's so cold. Again, I'm not trying to be racist, I'm just saying things the way I see them, and I know if there's anyone that's currently attending college, they've probably noticed the same thing I'm talking about. And the problem is that sometimes people can be too secure about their friend groups. For example, it's like I see this group of guys hanging out and I like their vibe, and I make a move to introduce myself, and I receive a not so welcoming energy, like I'm out. I'm the kind of person that if I try to get to know you and I receive some sort of negative energy or some sort of resistance, I'm never trying again. I sincerely hate trying to force friendships, and I think I'll rather be lonely than be in a forced friendship. And that's just the honest truth. And people might ask, why don't you join a friend group from your ethnicity or your race? Well, guess what? It's the exact same issue. Friend groups in general aren't so welcoming regardless of your race or your ethnicity, even though that does play a huge role. So the only option is to form your own friend group, and I think I'm too introverted for that. We're gonna leave that to the extroverts, not me. I kind of understand why friend groups are like that though. It's like you've been with the same group of people for years, and even for some since high school. Where is that from, bro? Oh, I think it's the military. So like I was saying, you've been with the same group of people for years, and even for some since high school. You guys have done so many shit together, both legal and illegal. So why would they just bring in some random new guy who wasn't there for all that? I get it, and no pressure at all. Like, I sincerely get it. It's just the reality of college. I think I need to change locations. People are already staring at me weird. It's literally 2025. People should get used to people talking in front of cameras. You would think people are already used to this. Alright, next location. Why do I feel like this place is worse? Lord help me. It makes me wonder, how are people, making friends or starting friend groups? Do you guys just walk up to people and start having conversations? Nah, that sounds too scary. Like I want to make friends, not be a creep. If you guys have any tips or suggestions on making friends, please definitely let me know in the comment section. You know what? Let me be vulnerable for a second. And I know people say that the internet isn't the best place to be vulnerable, but I literally do not care. So I have an accent, and sometimes it gets hard to communicate. Not because I don't speak English or because people don't understand what I'm saying. It's just that people just like to make a big deal about it. So it just icks me whenever I'm trying to have a conversation with someone and the person just, points out the fact that I have an accent. It just icks me. Where the hell is that music coming from? Bro. So it just icks me whenever I'm trying to have a conversation with someone and the person just constantly picks on the fact that I have an accent. Leaving the accent aside, there are just a lot of cultural differences when you go to school here. I'm Nigerian and my personality is different from 80% of the people I meet every day. I might say something or give my opinion about something and a fellow African or Nigerian will understand where I'm coming from. But someone from a different ethnicity might find it, weird or even offensive. Or the things I like to do might be different from the things my Indian friend likes to do. For example, right, I'm not a huge fan of Asian food. And imagine if I had an Asian friend that, likes to eat out almost like every weekend and they probably invite me for dinner. You see, that's already a problem. At the end of the day, I feel it's just all about maturity and growing up to understand that people are different and we should respect those differences instead of making them a big deal. At the end of the day, we're all different and that's actually what makes life interesting. I mean, it's okay to not relate to everything, but what's not okay is making someone else feel out of place because of it. And I know, like, after everything I've said, it may seem like I don't talk to people. I do, but it's mostly surface level conversations, mostly about classes or college games that are coming up, and that's it. And there are also some days I go the whole day without saying a word and I just have to talk to myself just to make sure my vocal cords are still working. Bro, it's really sad, bro. It's really a weird feeling, like just seeing other people together and you're just here by yourself existing. I won't say it makes me sad. Like, I don't want to say it makes me sad because for real, it's really not that deep. But it does make me worried about my ability to, form connections with people. It also doesn't help that I'm a commuter, right? So I commute from home to school every single day of the week. And on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I do have like a 5-hour gap between my classes. And I usually spend that time in the library, just binge watching Pop the Balloon or Find Love. On some days, I do go outside and take walks and, all those fun stuff. But since the beginning of the semester, it's been brutally cold, so there's really nothing to do outside. I'm usually just whiling away time in the library, or sometimes I just go home and ditch my second class. After everything I've said, I also want to mention that I have myself to blame because I'm an introvert, right? It wouldn't be this hard if I was actually extroverted. So I have myself to blame for being an introvert. The whole gist is that college can get pretty lonely, especially when you're not from here and you also go to a PWI college. I'm not really worried because this experience of being alone actually builds character. I'm slowly enjoying being by myself and just, moving by myself. You actually use this time to learn a lot about yourself. A lot of people advise, putting yourself out there, joining clubs, talking to people and all those scary stuff. All that is hard in general, but it's actually harder when you're not from here. And you also need to realize that talking to people and putting yourself out there, the results heavily depend on those people actually accepting you or receiving you in the first place. Like I said earlier, people are so hostile when it comes to their friend groups, and I get it. But like I said, it's literally better for you to be lonely than force yourself on people who don't want you. In my opinion, it's not worth it. Bro, go fix your exhaust, bro. What the hell? Also, let's establish this. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with you going through college without having dozens of friends or without you belonging to a friend group. That's just an idea cooked by this generation. There are people who have done it and are still very successful. So if you feel lonely in college, just know that you're not alone, because there are literally hundreds of people that have walked past here while I was recording this video that probably feel the same way too. Just put yourself out there, talk to people, but also don't force yourself on anyone. It finally feels good to talk about this because I've had this on my mind since the beginning of this semester actually, and it just feels good to rant about this. Just let me know in the comments if you've ever felt this way. Treat the comment section as a safe space. If you have any advice or suggestions for people who feel lonely in college, just drop them in the comment section. Again, treat the comment section as a safe space, and I'm going to try to respond to every single comment. For real, thank you guys for listening to my little pep talk or TED talk, and I really appreciate every single one of you guys, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Peace.